Everything learning. Let's just start again. Hi, everybody. I'm Caitlin Jackson. I'm your customer success manager. So I work in partnership with York College, with different individuals across campus, to just really support LinkedIn Learning, which is a component of LinkedIn that we'll talk through today. And I know when I'm meeting with some of your leaders in the career services department to talk a little bit about how to prepare and how do you get more presence on LinkedIn, how to build that digital portfolio, and also how to utilize some resources that your college has to be able to best prepare you. So knowing that your college fair, the job fair is coming up next week, we thought this was a great time to really think through our LinkedIn profile and through some resources that you have to best prepare you for that particular fair. So why are we here? We're going to talk a little bit about pretty much the best practices around your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have one, just ways to start. If you do, I would love for us to take a couple of actions or certain things that we're going to do to just revamp it. I think of my LinkedIn profile as something that is constantly iterative. I'm constantly changing and adjusting because we as individuals are changing and adjusting, but really should reflect who you are as a person, as a professional. How do you want to be perceived in the professional workforce, and how and it's a great tool to really show more than just your resume. All right, so when you think about when we think about career plans, we think about maybe you're getting to maybe working towards a particular career or job, and it's not always linear. So sometimes we say like, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to get to this particular job or opportunity. And for some of us that might happen. For many of us, that our career journey might be ebbs and flows and kind of all over the place. And I think that's the beauty of LinkedIn and the ability to network, is that you can really start to really think about what's going to be best for you in your professional career. So what I'd love for you to take out of today is some actionable ways that you can update, whether it's your LinkedIn profile or whether it's your going into LinkedIn Learning, but certain things that you can start to put into action right away after our webinar today to be able to best prepare you for the career fair and for just overall career goals and moving towards those in the near future. So LinkedIn. So if you're not very familiar with LinkedIn, or maybe have only just started to take a look at it, it's social media, but we think about social media in a couple of different ways. So maybe in terms of social media, when we think about the other platforms, maybe you're on, we're going to go around the theme of donuts, and it is lunchtime, so it's making me pretty hungry. But let's just think about Facebook. So Facebook, you might like a donut, where in Instagram, you might put a cool picture of a donut. Maybe in Spotify, you're listening to something that has to do with donuts. But there's different reasons why we go on different social media platforms. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit more focused on what our professional goals are, that professional network. So maybe you go in terms of that donut theme, maybe you hope to operate a donut franchise, or you're looking for a job at a donut factory. You have certain skills in donut production or recommendations from donut colleagues. So there's uses of LinkedIn that are different than maybe other social platforms, and good to keep in mind when going on to LinkedIn. I did forget to say, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in there in the chat. I'll just be looking periodically and happy to answer. All right, looks like my screens may have frozen a bit. Let me just see. All right, here we go. So when we think about LinkedIn, there's a lot of power that we have in LinkedIn and our tools and our data and our insights that can help with opportunity. So this starts with our professional community. We have over 810 million members, and we have lots of different companies, 58 million companies, 11 million jobs posted on LinkedIn, 38,000 skills, over 120,000 schools, and this is consistently growing. And so when we're thinking about LinkedIn in general, thinking about networking, thinking about what we're seeing and putting out there, it provides you the ability to connect with individuals and content spanning lots of different organizations, members, companies, jobs, and can put that near your fingertips within LinkedIn. So when we think about our LinkedIn profile, we want to think of it as your story. So thinking about who you are as a professional within the workforce, what does this say outside of, it's a chance to really talk about yourself and who you are outside of maybe your resume. So your resume and your profile should not be identical. Of course, they're going to be similar, but your LinkedIn profile allows you to add a lot more to your profile to really add a lot more information and just a lot more things like skills and experience and things that you may not be able to include on your resume to really talk about who you are. So we're going to go over a couple of different ways that you can really optimize your LinkedIn profile moving forward. And you don't have to do all of them. I don't want you to be overwhelmed if you haven't started your LinkedIn profile, but I would go ahead and start to try to think about a few ones that you want to add to your LinkedIn profile. And maybe for those individuals on the call that have a LinkedIn profile already, take a few as we go through the steps and think about two to three components that you may want to adjust before the career fair next week. So our first thing is adding a photo. Members with the photo get up to 9 times more connection requests, 21 times more profile views, and 36 times more messages. So the more photos we put a photo and a face to the name, the more connections and connection requests and views that you'll get. In addition, you can add that photo. And you also have a feature within LinkedIn that you can add the pronunciation of your name, which is a great way to just really, again, speak to who you are. So some general best practices around photos. So oftentimes it's best if you're alone in the picture, from shoulders up, some kind of neutral background. And then professional clothing, but I do want to talk about that component. So in terms of pictures, you might see lots of different types of profile pictures. So if you see here in the left-hand side, you see a man with a suit on. His particular industry may have that as, he might think that really kind of reflects who that particular industry, where the woman in the top left-hand corner with the yellow glasses could be a more artsy type of professional environment. So you can really start to play around with who you are and what kind of professional community you're looking to engage in. So that way we'll give you some good pointers on what your picture should be like. Second is you can record your name. So as we talked about before, this is a new opportunity that allows you to record your name, and you can pronounce your name for others and make a great first impression. So you could do this on your mobile app. You have 10 seconds. I would just limit your background noise and hold your phone within 4 inches of your mouth so you can get a really clear recording of your name. Another suggestion is to add your pronouns so that you can really show up as your authentic self. It's optional. You can set the visibility of that. but 72% of hiring managers really believe it's important and shows respect to have those pronouns on there. Additionally, add your industry. So members with the with industry information receive up to 9 times more profile views. And more than 300,000 people search by industry on LinkedIn per week. So just quickly adding that industry you're looking to go into can really help in terms of profile views. Now we're in the profile section and adding a compelling summary. So featuring in your about section is kind of like your elevator pitch. You want to focus on your accomplishments and your aspirations. So things like, where are you from? Where are you going now? Where are you going and where are you going from now? So we're like kind of past, present, and future. You should keep it short. So it's important to take a look at this section and work on it, maybe less than 100 words. But really just a quick pitch, because many looking through resumes and profiles, they're not spending much time. So you want to make sure it catches and grabs that person's attention. Another step is that featured content. So you can bring your story to life by pinning certain media content you're proud of in that feature section. So maybe it's your particular content that you have created, or ones that really align or talk to kind of what you're interested in, that's connected to your profile. And then detail your work experience. So members with up-to-date positions receive more connection requests, more profile views, and 10 times more messages. So definitely keep up to date on any positions. And maybe whether you're just starting out in your career journey or whether you've been in the workforce for many years, think about everything you do. So for maybe if you're a student that has not really been in the workforce before, think about everything from volunteer and any kind of other positions that you may hold. They all need certain skills that could then maybe be helpful in a particular position. So no job, no community service should definitely be kind of put to the side. It's all important to kind of show who you are, what you've been working on. So again, add those volunteer experience. Those members who add volunteer experience get up to 6 times more profile views than those who don't. So if you've had some time to volunteer and give back to your community, it's always a great way to showcase who you are. All right, so adding skills and getting endorsed. We're seeing as the economy is starting to shift, we're seeing a more and more focused on skill development. And so members who add up to 5 or more skills receive up to 17 times more profile views. So thinking about what skills you have, and then actually getting endorsed by other members really can help a recruiter or a future employer take a look at what skills you can bring to that opportunity. I do see a question in here that's particularly interesting. So how many years of experience is interesting to add to my LinkedIn profile? I have many years of experience as an office manager and accountant, but I recently changed to the health field, and I do not have many experience in the health field industry yet. So that question actually really speaks to me too, because I am a customer success manager, but I actually used to be a K through 12 teacher. So did some of shift within industries in order to get the job that I have today. So I would say, yes, I would absolutely put experience as an office manager and accountant on there, but I would highlight the particular skills that you're seeking that would make sense for the healthcare industry. So what I did when I changed industries is I looked at my particular bullet points under my descriptions. And I truly tried to focus on what skills are they looking for in the position that I want, and what can I highlight to show that I'm going to be a good fit, even though that it may be in a different industry. And that's always good to connect. What I do is I connected with many people within the industry that I was looking to go into, to kind of take a look at my resume as help, to see if they can help to pull out certain skills and highlight things. So networking becomes really important too, as you're starting to switch industries. All right, and then request a recommendation. This is a great, whether maybe you're working in volunteer opportunities, whether you have a current job, or maybe you're a student right now working with faculty members on projects. Recommendations help to build your credibility and validate your skills. So whether you're working with a professor, asking them for a recommendation, or another supervisor, can definitely help. It speaks to who you are, talks about you within your digital portfolio, but it's a different voice, which is always great to have a different perspective. I would always say when you are going to send out that recommendation request, I would always recommend customizing that request. So make sure the person that let them know who you are and what you want to be recommended for specifically. Maybe it's for a particular project or an initiative that you lead. And you could always make the request. Sometimes you can make the first pass to send to them or give them some ideas that can help them to craft that particular recommendation. And then lastly, I would always choose people who you work with closely and can provide specific examples on your strengths and your skills and experience. All right, and don't forget things like location, education, publications, and accomplishments too, that all could add to your portfolio. So I want to pause here for just a few minutes. If you can, within the chat, and if you're willing to share, what do you want to be professionally known for? Being able to kind of articulate that too will help you when you're going to go and look at your profile, whether it's to change or adjust or create. So if you want to take a few minutes, we'll put that in the chat if you feel comfortable for, and then we'll move forward. All right, I'm getting a few coming in. Animator, critical thinker. Awesome. All right, so I want to transition to talking a little bit about launching your career and the ability of learning new skills, because the skill component of your LinkedIn profile is really, really, really important. Just take a minute, 1 second. So when we're thinking about your LinkedIn Learning in particular, is a resource that you have through your college. So this is a resource that is actually different than LinkedIn.com. LinkedIn Learning is a separate yet connected resource within your college offers to all students, faculty, and staff on campus. So if you have not had a chance to activate your license for LinkedIn Learning, I would definitely recommend you doing so. It's a free resource, and you can connect your LinkedIn profile with your LinkedIn Learning profile. You have the option to doing so. What's great is as you're starting to, in addition to all of the work, all of the information you have on your LinkedIn profile, as you're engaging in particular courses or video or content within LinkedIn Learning, You can showcase that on your LinkedIn profile, speaking to a recruiter or a future colleague or manager about what you're looking for, what skills you're engaging in to really make it more skills based. And so LinkedIn Learning works a little bit kind of like Netflix in terms of we give you recommendations. We may tell you what's kind of trending across campus or certain recommendations based on positions or industry. And so it works very similar to like a Netflix or a Hulu kind of feel. So we equip yourself with the most in-demand skills within LinkedIn Learning. We have about 11,000 courses on business, leadership, creativity, and technology. I think overall, across spanning multiple different languages, we're over 17,000 courses. So you can build on an existing skill or learn something new. So whether it's a particular technical skill, maybe you want to get better at Excel or Adobe, or maybe it's a particular business skill of communication. But thinking about also getting ready for the career fair, maybe it's resume building or networking, job searching, or particular skills that make you present yourself and make those connections faster. So I would definitely say in preparation for that career fair, it's great to take a look at some of the courses that we have that really are going to make sure you put your best foot forward during that career fair next week. So know that within LinkedIn Learning, we have a mobile app along with a desktop app. The mobile app is great, especially for your going between classes or maybe commuting, maybe back and forth from your job or from campus. We have some audio only courses and some courses that you may not have to look at the screen. So it might be good to listen to. It's always great, especially as you're maybe taking a walk or driving to be able to get some of that content in. And again, you can showcase your growth. So at the end of a particular course that you take on LinkedIn Learning, you get a certificate of completion. And you can choose to showcase that on your LinkedIn profile. So just a quick anecdote, I was working with a professor from another partner the other day, and they talked about, this was a particular accounting professor. They talked about a particular student that had an opportunity to for an internship. And so they actually got an interview for this particular internship. However, without LinkedIn Learning courses and other types of ways that they showcase skills on their LinkedIn profile, they may not have necessarily had that same opportunity. Reason being is they had a particular strict GPA and they were a little below it. And so what they did was they showcased all of the other ways that they use courses and skills to develop that, to be able to showcase that they want this particular internship, and that those hiring managers actually interviewed them and that individual actually got that particular internship because of it. So we do recommend certain courses as you get involved with LinkedIn Learning. It'll ask you some things that you're interested in, whether it's your industry, your course title. We have some new features around course. You can set a course goal within LinkedIn Learning, and then it will help us to really recommend that content. Courses range from 30 minutes to 3 hours, and it doesn't mean you have to watch the entire course. Sometimes you may just want to go in and watch pieces of a course or a full course. So again, everything from business library, creative library, technical library, wellness content, career advising, and recommendations and things like that. I'm going to pause here. I do see that there's a question. Do you want to come off mute or do you want to put it in the chat?
Yeah, my question was, is it true that you can include anything that you've gotten a certificate for on LinkedIn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
so it could be,
you could add it manually. So if it's something that's outside of LinkedIn Learning, you can add that manually within your LinkedIn profile. It's something that you included a certificate within LinkedIn Learning. You can add that as well. And if you connect your LinkedIn Learning profile with your LinkedIn.com, if you participated in a guide certificate, it's very easy to put that certificate onto your profile, and it will prompt you if you would like to do that. But if it's something that's outside of LinkedIn Learning, you can definitely add that to your profile.
All right, thank you.
And I would think that's a great point too. I would definitely put all those certifications on there because it really speaks to what skills you can bring to the table. So in addition to LinkedIn Learning, within LinkedIn Learning, you also have certification prep and continuing education courses. So this is oftentimes whether you're in that professional field and maybe you have a Google certification or a NASBA certification. Some of these certifications you require for ongoing professional development hours. And so it's great. What's great about LinkedIn Learning is we offer these courses that can count towards them. Those that don't have access to LinkedIn Learning in other industries may have to pay for these courses. So pay for those hours. So what's nice about this is it's a resource that LinkedIn Learning that York gives within York gives to you. And so for free. And so therefore you can utilize that for any continuing education prep or for certification. LinkedIn Learning is, so how much does it cost? LinkedIn Learning is you have a license given to you through your college, so it's at no cost to you.
I'm sorry, but I just want to know how much it costs without York College. I'm just curious because I want to recommend it to someone else. That's what.
Oh, okay. It comes with a premium. I think it's the LinkedIn Premium profile that allows you to have LinkedIn Learning. I think it's around, I want to say $30 or $25 a month. I'm not exactly sure. Note too, if you're a student at your college and you link your LinkedIn profile with your LinkedIn Learning account, and then you go to work at a company that has LinkedIn Learning, all of that learning will be saved. So great to always link that profile. Again, we will never take any privacy information from you, but it just, if you go to an organization that has LinkedIn Learning as a part of their professional development, it's great because you have all of that, those saved courses that you have engaged in. So I pulled a couple of courses here based on your LinkedIn Learning to prepare for the career fair. And I do see I have another question here and I'll get to you in just a moment. I wanted to showcase a couple of courses. So those that want to jump right in to prepare for your upcoming career fair. So knowing that it's next week, I would think networking and resume building might be top of mind for many right now. And so there's a couple of courses here, professional networking for career starters, resumes, do's and don'ts. Definitely take a look at some of the courses here within LinkedIn Learning, because they might be extremely helpful in going into those career fairs next week. There is some questions about how to log in. And as Shane said, we will go over how to access it at the end. So there's a particular link that we can share with you, and then you use your York login credentials to be able to utilize it. We will go through this at the end, but also know your LinkedIn profile may have different credentials than than LinkedIn Learning, because LinkedIn Learning, you're using your SSO credentials through York. And then you might be asked to connect them. So we'll go over how to do that at the end of the presentation. But definitely at the end of the presentation, I would take a look at and screenshot this slide for certain courses that you might be interested in to prepare. So I challenge us to just take a minute or two and think of one skill or course that aligns to your career journey and start that course by the end of the week. So think about if there's a particular course or skill that you want to make sure that whether it helps you with networking to get to that career path, or whether it's particular to like an Excel course, an Adobe course, a communication or presentation skills, take a look, think through what would be best to really set you up for success and start that course by the end of the week. That way you can get a chance to take a look at LinkedIn Learning and the ways that it can help you. All right, and then last, we're going to kind of dive into the connection part of it. So thinking through how to network in community, which is a big part of job searching, and really networking and that sense of community is important throughout your career. So it's of course incredibly important as you're trying to get a new opportunity, but it's always important to network and keep up that community with that professional community at all times, because you never really know when you want to lean on anybody for questions or advice. But you also can learn a tremendous amount from those around you as well. And I think that's the power of LinkedIn. So challenge you to discover any existing connections. You can click on My Network in the top navigation bar to find people that you already know. And note that there is a people you may know feature that improves over time as you build your network. So I would definitely go ahead and start to think about who's in that network for anybody that maybe for existing connections. You could also search for new connections. So maybe as you interact with individuals on campus, you can choose, request them to be a connection on LinkedIn. Or even next week, as you start to connect with those individuals at the career fair, ask, hey, would you mind if we connect on LinkedIn so I can learn more about or follow you for content, things like that. So great way to keep up that connection. I would definitely suggest when you do go to ask somebody for a connection to include a personal message. It goes a long way. So even just a quick hi, we met earlier today during our career fair. I really loved your presentation on X, Y, and Z. I would love to keep in touch. It adds a sense of professionalism and just personalization to it. I often get, there's many times that I get requested invites from whenever I do Rock Your Profile sessions and other, but I may not know who that person is unless they give me some context on who they are and how we connect. And so I oftentimes may not know who that person is without that customization. So it's incredibly helpful, and you'll see that those, in my own experience, those that I customize an invitation, I had a much better rate for them accepting it than those that I'm just sending things out. Because there are going to be people on LinkedIn that just send out connection requests that you may necessarily not know. So again, I would request any recommendations from on LinkedIn from people in your network. So select a relationship to that person and indicate how you work with them and customize that message. So you can either go about and start to connect those existing connections, find new connections. And another way to build your network is to join groups within LinkedIn Learning, linkedin.com. So you can meet different professionals and share career interests, gain inside knowledge from leading voices. So any kind of topics or groups that make sense based on your career goals, your professional goals, or even just your personal interests are great. You request to join, and it's a great way to engage and connect with those that maybe you may not have the opportunities to connect with outside of LinkedIn. So just kind of put this in context, LinkedIn members are 4 times more likely to get hired when referred. And so the more that you network and connect with those individuals, the more chances that you are, more likely you are to get hired. So networking is definitely important. I would say within LinkedIn, your LinkedIn.com profile, I would definitely go ahead and find those existing connections, start to think about any new connection requests that you can send out. whether it's pre-career fair or during that career fair, after post-career fair next week. I'd also take a course on one of those 5 or 6 different courses on networking through LinkedIn Learning. It has some really great tips on ways to network. What I find really helpful too is it talks about different ways, because everybody networks in a little bit different. Everybody's personality and comfort level is different. And so it gives you lots of different tools and ways that really match who you are. But whether you're more reserved or whether you're more outgoing, whether you're more introverted or extroverted, there's ways to network. And so we hope we can equip you with the tools to be able to connect with the right people to get you to where you need to go. Reminder that there is an interview practice tool. So especially going into that career fair next week, or maybe some new interviews coming up, there's an interview practice tool within LinkedIn. And also just to add value and engage, I would definitely give testimonials and recommendations to other and join groups within LinkedIn Learning, like and share different posts and networks across your network, and invest times in your connection. So when you ask for recommendations, it's great. I think also making sure you're giving those testimonials and recommendations back to those. That part of networking and that relationship is that give and take. Make introduction for others. That's all part of connecting each other, is not only asking for connections to help your career, but you can definitely be helping others as well. So really making sure you're giving back to that community in ways, knowing I remember feeling in the start of my career, what do I really have to offer? Can I really help anybody, especially if they're a more senior member? You'll be surprised on different ways that you can help. So within the LinkedIn Learning course I was taking on networking, the instructor talked about being a little hesitant to say, like, how do I give back to this more senior member of this particular company that I'm networking with? But that individual talked about how that particular person had a contact that was significantly younger, more that person's age, and they were able to connect them with other people in an industry that was more connected to that particular person, even though that person was just starting in that industry. So there's always an opportunity. So I would say, as like and share, get involved, invest in those connections, take those lunches, take those coffees, even if it's just time to listen and to learn. So not every networking conversation has to turn into a job recommendation, but sometimes it's just learning about the industry, learning about their experience that will help you get ahead. So I definitely think of one person that you can write a recommendation for, or maybe endorse by the end of next week to really start that networking and start networking across the different communities. All right, so just to kind of round out our presentation here, you can definitely gain some insights within LinkedIn Learning, LinkedIn. So gain that knowledge, follow organizations that you are interested in that connect, whether it's a personal connection or a professional connection, to learn more about that industry or that particular organization. Follow influencers. There's some great influencers out there, especially within your particular industry, because going into an interview, understanding kind of the industry at the whole, some challenges and obstacles that industry is facing, and the path forward for that industry can help you answer some questions and really speak to why that job, why that organization, why that particular career path. So there's some great influencers that put out some wonderful content, even just for overall learning. Utilize the search at scale, so those advanced filters to help you find what's important. and customize your feed. Make sure you're seeing the news and content and posts that matter to you most. So know that there's in the top right-hand corner, those 3 dots, and you can hide posts, unfollow, improve, give recommendations. So make sure LinkedIn is really working for you in terms of this news and the content and posts that what matter most to you and your career goals.